you can make up any excuse for your lifestyle to say it's necessary,
Yeah,
but really, more times than not, you yourself are the biggest obstacle in your fitness journey.
dude. Yeah. That is so accurate. And yeah, yes. That, I mean, if more people realized that, more people could have success in their life. You know, for both of us, we've been in that situation where we are in complete control and we are the problem with where we want to be, right? And that goes both ways, in negative ways, positive ways. You are completely the reason that you are where you are right now with your business, with your life, with what's going on. And if it's good, it's bad, you are the common denominator in all of it. You know, we've talked about that before, but like there's so many people in life that create their own obstacles. And I'm guilty of it too. You know, like I create my own obstacles in that I spend too much time on one thing that maybe doesn't move the needle where I want it. So then that's an obstacle to get to the things that I want to do or to get the things done. Or I've, brought too much on my plate and can't handle it all, which is an obstacle of now I don't get anything done because I'm not making any progress anywhere, and creating these obstacles. If you can just, and this is what I've done, I'm not just trying to stand up on a box and preach at people. What I do to help myself overcome the obstacles that I've created is I take a step back and I think, how did I contribute to this? No matter what the situation is, what have I done to contribute to this being an obstacle in my life? And then I literally try to make everything my fault in a good way. And hear me out. So I will sit and I will look at every situation and be like, okay, how did I do this? What did I do to make this happen? Can be something completely crazy. Like, for an example, I get in a car accident, right? Somebody blindsides me, hits me here. Okay, let's take that and think about how did I do that? How is this my fault? And so then I take a step back. Okay, well, I could have been driving too fast. So maybe I was in the wrong space at the wrong time because I was driving too fast. And so that's my fault because I was driving too fast. Or I left the house late. And so then I was at the wrong space at the wrong time. Or I wasn't paying attention to know that person was coming and was going to blindside me. Right. And so I look at every single scenario to try to figure out how this was my fault. And then I can address, okay, what could I do next time to get ahead of that so that I don't create more obstacles for myself? And so when I see these obstacles come up, it's how can I fix them? But then that brings up another point is most people don't even know that they have obstacles. And so then you got to take stock of your life and look at your day. And at the end of every day, okay, well, what got in my way today? What was something that detracted from me getting things done today? And then again, you got to take a step back and address that. And so that's what works for me. What do you do when you have obstacles that get in your way?
Well, I think I've told this story before, and we do have some pro wrestlers that are listening, and hopefully they can heed this advice and kind of fast track it and not learn the lesson like I did in my 40s. It took me that long to learn it. In wrestling and in mirrors life and society, especially in 2023, it's so easy. It's incredibly easy. It's criminally easy to blame others for your problems.
Mm,
It's so easy. And then you surround yourself also with people that say, hey, it's not your fault. They screwed you over. This
mm,
happened. They're feeding, they're feeding that monster that you think you're unloading on somebody else, but you're actually carrying the burden even more because you're not looking at the real root cause. And it might not be your fault, but in my 50s now, and what I learned in my 40s, and I'll back it up to what I used to be like in wrestling, I would prefer to be, like you just said, hyper accountable to myself, almost to a fault.
mm.
That's the way I'd rather be because at least, number one, I can look, and if it is really my fault, I can control it and change things. And if it's not, it still is. And I can fix something and do something. The way it works in pro wrestling most times, and this is the way it works in the world right now in 2023, it's not my fault. They screwed me. They did this and that. That's the reason I don't have the job I want. That's the reason why my income's not where it's at. That's the reason why I'm stuck in a dead end job, 9 to 5. My boss is a jerk. And if they were just nice to me, my job would be better. Not looking at the fact that, and I'm using the wrestling thing, the office is screwing me. They're not pushing me. They're not giving me creative. They're not booking me enough, this and that. To where after I left WWE, or even after I left the wrestling business on a full-time basis, I had to look at it. I had to look at it in order to move forward as a man, look at it and say, no, they didn't screw me. And if I got screwed, I let them screw me over.
Mm,
I coming back for more. I came out, I didn't change my situation. I didn't change my environment. I didn't ask for a release. I didn't go and pay my dues in Japan again to reinvent myself. I didn't do any of those things.
yep.
After I left the business, I realized I need to reinvent myself because if I stay on this path, I'm going to keep being a failure, but it's going to be okay because it's his fault, her
Mm,
fault, their fault, not my fault. That was the epiphany. That was the literal come to Jesus moment of it's my fault.
mm,
And if it's not my fault, it's still my fault. And I'm going to do something about it. Only then, and that's there speaking on a side note, that's literally the independent contractor versus the employee mentality as well. You just said it. We wake up every morning trying to figure out how we can run our businesses better, how we can make
sure.
more money on our brands, how we can be more successful. If we say, well, this company screwed me over and that's why they don't want me to be an affiliate because they're jerks and this and that. No, you have to look and say, okay, what's missing? Am I half-assing everything because I have 7 or 8 different things going on? What am I doing wrong? That's the only
Mm,
way you're going to get better. And unfortunately, the world is more of people pointing fingers, dragging people down instead of saying, let me make the example out of me. And hopefully people can rise up along with me and we can all kind of get better.
mm,
I think it's, dude, with the mental health issues since 2020 that are coming for the next generation, all this stuff, we have a true epidemic of people that need to mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically come out of the depths of hell, literally,
yeah.
to get themselves together. I know it's a bit of a tangent, but people be hyper accountable. Even if it's not your fault, it's your fault, and your life will get immensely easier, better, and much more productive.